supposed to be signed.
I'm not sure what kind of language we would have to stand on that, but
Well,
So you understand, here's the two legs you stand on. One being is the fact that obviously you place conditions on the permit that we're not complied with. And the second one being is that every dock at the lake is subject to the fact that the city can at any time cancel the right to use it. It's a lease. That's what the order is. That's what the court is. You guys can stop them from actually using it by saying you don't have a lease there anymore, which is why you don't do this kind of thing, maybe, if you guys choose. I mean, everybody at the lake who has a dock, who has structures on city property, is there at the grace of the city. And at any particular time, you guys could cut that off for people who do not comply, for people who comply, and you decide to get rid of it. If you want to clean off, certain
so it's
side of the lake.
so it's all a moot point. We can basically say we don't want to use our lake anymore.
Well, I mean, I think there ought to
be.
Yeah, technically, yes. So,
frankly, she's non-compliant. Let's just do that.
Blatantly.
yeah, well, I would say, so that's the motion would be,
Okay.
the motion would be if you're so disposed to determine that the permit has not been complied with because of an oversized dock and the failure to comply with conditions placed on the installation by the city in October of 2020. And direct that the same be removed.
Motion.
So move.
Second.
A second.
Just a minute. All in favor? Unanimous. Somebody shows up to begin with. That would have been so much easier.
Need to hold it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer right
Yeah,
there.
there we go.
Hey, Todd, before we go on to something, I want to ask you something. With me being the PO officer, do I automatically legally have the right to walk on people's property without permission?
You have the right of entry onto city property, and you have the right of entry into docks. You don't necessarily have the right to enter the property of the home because there is no inspection right or duty on the home.
Right,
But
but
she
the
can't
outskirt on the
Oh, yeah.
the
But you
land.
can go and measure docks.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You really need to not refer to your job as a PO, where I'm the PO. Think about.
What? Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to lighten the mood a little bit here.
That was PU. Me
Hey.
too.
Wait a minute. What is what I have?
What's PO? Parole officer?
No,
PU.
PU.
Public officer.
no.
Public
PO.
officer.
Yeah.
Public
I'm
officer.
I think she's crossing PU and BO.
It's just facetious, girls.
Work too much.
That's PO would make me, Lincoln Mason, my PO tonight.
All right,
Okay, there we go.
all right. Are we done with this?
That was fun.
Okay. Sandbank.
Oh, I got it. Table that son
I
of a
like it too.
bitch. Sorry.
We all heard that
What he
loud.
said.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time we tabled it. I can't make a motion.
I moved the table.
I'll second.
Okay, well, what?
Land
The
bank
land bank
ordinance.
ordinance,
Why?
because we're gonna read, right?
And it's mine.
I wouldn't make
You
it
want to
that.
have Todd explain it a little bit and then
No,
read
it's,
it?
no, let's not.
All right, so once again, we let,
You have a motion in the second.
yeah, well, we're having a discussion right now. I'm part of the discussion. Okay, this is important stuff. We need to decide on some of this stuff, and this land bank thing
Is that the
has
ordinance?
been waiting for. See, this is why, the last meeting we had, I totally missed a complete conversation down there. And that you guys go ahead and make a motion on something that I didn't even know what you were talking about. And then when I go home and realize what happened, annoyed. And so we need to try and keep these private conversations down to a minimum when we're really talking about stuff. Todd wants to table this because
Well,
it
yeah, I don't,
needs,
There's a motion to table it.
well, and I asked for a discussion.
I was just asking about the streets and alleys portion because I thought we skipped over
Exactly.
it. Are we going back to it or not?
Yes,
Well,
we're
yeah.
going back to
We're
it.
coming back to this.
So then that's the next.
Well, I wanted to know why we were, but I asked why we were tabling the land bank thing. And because we were supposed to look at this at the last meeting and we said we'd look at it the next city meeting. Let's do our homework. We need to get this stuff taken care of. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second on that to table this?
Yep.
All in favor? Thank you.
I'm abstaining.
Okay. Good. This is something everybody should like. Retaining wall bid proposal lake swimming area. Brett?
Does everybody have that in their packet?
And forward.
So that is the bid from Coley Construction. That's who I spoke with because we had discussed or whatever. They had done the,
It's this one. Sorry, guys. So there's two in there. It's the next one, Tim.
This one and
This
this
fuzzy.
one.
There's a fuzzy one.
Yeah, I couldn't see it, so I thought I was looking at the right thing.
The
but I went to
one with
Colby
the-
because he had done the prior work out there and had done the concrete dock that extends out over the water by the swim. So this is the proposal for the retaining wall at the swim beach, which would be $29,039. This will not be able to be done immediately like we want because of the water level. So he'll have till it drops some before he'd be able to do it. However, the dangerous area over by the boat ramp where we need the retaining wall between it and the concrete dock, they can do now. And it is a bid of $14,911.
Brett, is that retaining wall over by between the bait shop and the concrete dock, is that a retaining wall or are we gonna try and make that into a place where the boats can get on and
It's
off?
because of the area, they looked at the area and came up what would be a best solution for it.
Mhm.
I let them take the reins on that. And what they had is basically going to be a wall and then there'll be a 5-foot wide sidewalk on top of that runs kind of,
Parallel.
parallel. So
But we're not talking about making the entrance and exit off the lake any bigger?
not currently because of the budget.
Do you mean the boat ramp itself? though?
Yeah. James Bridgman came in and was talking to me about making it a wider space because it takes an hour for the boats to get onto the lake like at 4th of July. And being as that we were going to do work there to begin with, I was wondering if we couldn't put what I call a seaman apron there in that area to extend it wider so that we could have even 2 boats going on.
Extending it clear over to the concrete dock.
Clear over to the concrete.
And I wouldn't know
thing.
exactly what that would be, but from talking with the guy on the phone, I'm assuming that it's pretty close to what the whole retaining wall for the swim beach is gonna be like. That was gonna be a
I'm not
big
sure how
scope
much
project.
A bigger
you-
project.
Right, not something that we couldn't revisit at another time, but this one, and they would be able to be doing that, and they'd have to do that at the same time as
Right.
this.
Because it would be lower.
Right,
Right.
so this will fix the area where people could be falling actually through the
I
ground
understand
into the lake.
the fix is
Um,
needed.
Now, I don't see any other steps. They put in steps.
Yes, there's two
So it's two.
steps.
They can put handrails.
What?
On the
Are
steps.
you're talking about on the beach area?
Swimming beach
on
area.
the swimming
Beach area.
I did not ask them that.
They need to put handrails there to.
But I mean,
get
a handrail
old people
is,
in. We shouldn't.
We
need
have all
to-
the gas pipe, our guys can weld up some couple
But
handrails.
they are putting steps in.
absolutely
in-
two different spots
Okay.
at either ends.
How are the,
And
you
it
know how
will
the
go-
steps will be? Like facing the water or they were to the side before?
They will be facing the water, so you'll be going down
Okay.
into the water. And it'll be from obviously
Well, it
the
used
bait
to
shop
be
to the tree.
Along the
over.
wall before.
Okay.
So you just step out, then go down.
Should've done it when you had
I remember that part anyway from being a child.
You know,
So-
if that second boat ramp
Yes, it did not have.
costs about the same as that wall, I don't know why we wouldn't entertain that idea. I don't know what it would cost though. I'm gonna
Let me
guess
ask
it's
you.
gonna cost more.
It might cost more, but then again, if we do this one, then we would have to undo it if we decide to put in a wider ramp, wouldn't we?
Well, my idea on that ramp also is if we're going to only really need that 3 weekends a year,
Oh, I think that they had a weren't they, don't they get busier than that almost every weekend, needing more space to get boats on?
Most of the time, when I worked out there, the busiest times were holiday weekends.
You think it'd be
Fishing,
otherwise?
whenever they had the fishing tournaments, it got kind of busy first thing in the morning. But my concern is, when there's only one of us out there, having the ramps side by side, it might be hard for us to check those boats out.
that's a good point.
Well, they should
Keep
be
an
able to
eye
put
on
Well, don't you go out and check them?
But
What-
if you
what's
got,
Saying that there's two.
but if you're dealing with one person, and knowing from some of these guys, they won't stop. They won't wait until you check it. If they've got their permit already, they'll just go ahead and back in. And
Fish are
unload.
biting.
But it might be cheaper to extend the boat ramp rather than to build a wall and a sidewalk and all that. It might be
That's an
cheaper to
easy
do that.
fix. You don't give them a
And-
permit until they get inspected.
And my thinking is, with 2 sets of gates, if it's cheaper, we'll just leave the other gate locked and almost never use
Yeah.
one of the
Only
ramps.
use it on the holiday or whenever.
Yeah, you can do that.
But if it's like I'm.
Oh, how I
definitely
wish
with
you
the
would have all
mindset.
had this discussion before I pressed them and pressed them to do this bid, and they are pressed for time and expecting an answer, and who knows if they'll be able to do it. And they are such
Yeah,
a
but they can't
small
do it right
concrete
now.
place to be able to do work in water is hard finding without paying an astronomical amount.
I have a question on that.
But
Do
I'm
we-
fine with what we decide, but
Do we have to, do we have to put out this in the paper and stuff like that? That's like that. We do not have to do that. Good.
Do we want to?
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
there's
I
nothing
go by the
I,
law.
well, I just asked because of this amount, do we want to at least attempt?
the problem is that when you get into the concrete part, not everybody can be doing water work.
Right.
And they do water work and have been the ones that have done it for us in the past.
He's good at it.
And he lives there.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't think we'll get anything else.
I don't think you would either. I think
I'm just throwing that out.
I,
there.
no, I appreciate that completely.
You know what, Brett? I think it might be a good idea just to simply bounce it off Colding and say, hey, this is what they brought up. Is there any hope that that might cost about the same, or is that going to cost way more? If he says, oh man, then end of discussion right there.
So,
That's how I feel.
okay. But I need them an answer because if it's 2 weeks down the line, then they might be busy till December.
You
So
only
then our safety issue of people falling, what are you going to do for the entire year in that area that's caving in?
If it comes down to the wire, then I'm more of a fan of just building that damn wall and being done with it. Yes, I wish that we would have thought about that other ramp.
Still, why don't you want me to call him tomorrow and ask him, and if it's gonna be a big deal, then yeah, I'm like, Tim, let's go with the wall and be safe. But I mean, if he can get to it at the same time. Just ask him tomorrow. I mean, he might.
Well, they were out there, correct?
But how are we going to approve something for them to be, you see what I mean?
Oh, we need to approve this tonight.
Yeah, because they're
Well-
busy, so like,
So
Well,
why don't we approve up to like 18K if it's a few thousand more? I'd be willing to go with it. I don't know if you guys
For a
would.
ramp or a,
Yeah, for a
in the
second-
ramp.
for a second.
Yeah.
With the gate.
we could do a contingent on.
Yeah,
like you
build the
guys
gate.
do.
Well, we can
Back,
approve it
yeah.
X number of dollars
Yeah.
for this project and then let the cost
I
determine what the project will be.
would think it couldn't be too much more, if more at all. To me, it seems like it'd be cheaper. To me, it seems
I
like
don't
that's
know.
a cheaper.
There's-
Because
It's
it's
more
not
mud.
that area.
Well, because you're not building retaining wall. You're not building retaining wall. sidewalk. You're not building a sidewalk.
Well, you gotta
You just have to build it
Put it
up.
in
You're
Some
simply,
reason.
you're simply, all you're doing is putting a flat surface down at an angle.
Well, and
Concrete expert, and
But-
maybe
but
there's
I-
more to it than that.
I will tell you this, if we go with the ramp and they will be able to do it, we're gonna have this safety problem almost all year long because they're not gonna be able to do anything till the water recedes. And I don't know if any of you have been out there, but you literally could be falling in if you get to the ledge where it's because it's metal and it's washed out. So now giving way to where you could literally fall in.
I don't have a problem with roping it off.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll have to put a barrier
After
on.
what happened to Deb when she walked on there, I don't have a problem roping it off, even if they can start in 2 weeks. But probably wouldn't be a bad idea to rope it off.
We should put
Do you
a
know what I'm
barrier.
talking about? What
Yeah.
happened to
it's not the main dock that goes out, but it's the one to the,
Concrete.
It's
the west
between
of
the
that?
concrete dock and the boat ramp. Okay, from your perspective, you're
Yeah.
looking down the boat ramp and here's the concrete dock and there's a wall that goes right along here.
okay.
Well, it's been falling out this way, crumbling, falling apart. You know, water gets in between the concrete and the ground and freezes.
Didn't there used to be a
And it's
chain
not
that
concrete,
went
it's metal.
between the cement dock and the ramp along that wall? A chain hanging there so people wouldn't walk on the edge of it?
Well, either way, we need to put a barrier up there. Debbie needs to
It'd be
put
in
a
Anyway,
barrier.
space, I guess.
The
Yeah,
concrete's
yeah.
kind of washed out of the skeleton of the rebar, whatever.
We used to
Oh,
play
So
on
you
that.
see the rebar, it's leaning way in the water. And Deb was walking on there and the ground is
We used to play on
washing
that.
out, her foot sunk, and you can see a little sinkhole. Granted, it's only, but I'm
Yeah,
sure that
that's
still
probably-
would be enough to
Where the loading
alert
dock
you.
was.
Yeah.
The gate.
So the question is, how much money would we pay for
It's
them
like
to
over
do?
to the concrete one.
Yeah, there's that space right there between the
Okay.
loading.
The boat ramp area retaining wall is 15,000.
I think so.
It's right in there.
And so we could ask him to see how much it was gonna,
If you are wanting me to go back to them and ask them about the ramp, then I would say that it's 14,911 for the wall. I would bump that up to 20 because I really think you're gonna need it if you have any hope of getting that
I
ramp,
do too.
which makes the whole scheme of the project with the ramp, the wall, and the retaining wall, the steps down into it at the swim beach, 50 grand.
And this wall we're talking about is a safety issue. The other wall is because we're literally losing our beach.
And the other
Yeah,
wall
we-
is technically a safety issue too, because it's washing away the corner of the bait house, which could collapse.
Yeah.
So budget wise, we have that, right?
As of right now, you
Yeah.
guys have, there you go.
But how much of that has to be allocated towards Deb's wages over the summer?
She's gotten one check and what was it, like 18,000 for the year or something? 18 something?
She's already got it.
So we need
One.
to subtract 18,000 from that 60. Is that?
No, 9,000, right?
No. She gets one check a month. So whatever divided by however many months. I can go look at how much she's. Let me go get her.
But still, 18,000 off of 60, so.
She's not getting that
It's
much.
not enough.
no.
That count comes out to.
Getting
not
less
enough.
even
Yep.
than previous.
Because we had 60 what?
60,000 of budget authority. And then
61.
18 of it spent. Well, there's gonna be some unforeseen things that we need to pay for too.
There's gonna be
I
money.
mean, I'm all
coming
for
in.
like long-term,
And there is
Gave her
money
$4,000.
coming in.
Yeah, she already gave her
Because
$4,000.
literally right now, you're looking at two safety issues, and we literally have no beach for anybody all summer long. Because it's all washed away.
Well, we're gonna have to deal with
So
that
she
this summer
gets-
regardless.
18,000 even annually. And she's been paid the $2,571.42.
But we'll be making more money
Right,
coming
from-
in.
Sales, yeah.
So that should at least be a wash.
I mean, yeah, last year you guys sold however much. Was it like 37,000? What was this?
how much permit, we probably sold hardly anything for permits. I know there's a few people that
No,
like
you
to pay at
sold
the beginning of the
some.
year.
Do you know? I can go
She
look.
turned in
No, sorry.
She just turned in $4,000.
Okay, so I mean, like,
Just gotten started.
yeah, so if, 30 is kind of a normal year, and you've got 4,000, then you figure maybe you got 26 coming in.
Yeah.
So that might make that a possibility if we didn't have anything else to do.
Well,
And
I
we've already
like
taken
this-
out the money
this
for
is
the
a
road.
Safety.
Yeah, and that's on that balance sheet.
Right.
Lake Reserve, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And it could be 44,000 instead of 50.
I'm in favor of booking him for both the retaining wall and the retaining wall.
Yeah.
Well, if he can do
Yeah.
that boat ramp thing for what you said, and he would do it, that would be great. And either way, I'm gonna call Deb tomorrow and have her block off that area so people don't walk on it.
The thing about the retaining wall, I know you're not all gonna be able to see this, but this is the boat ramp right here. This is the long skinny dock that goes out there. The retaining wall goes here, and then you've got the long concrete dock over here. Now, if he doubles the ramp width,
There's still
there's still gonna have to be a retaining wall right
Go,
here.
go clear over to the concrete.
Yeah,
pad.
all the way
Go
over.
all the way over.
That's gonna take a lot more mud than, that's gonna be a lot more
How,
concrete.
how many feet do you think that is between?
Well, the retaining wall that he's gonna put in is only, I don't know how deep the footing is gonna have to go. I'm gonna guess 4 feet tall. I don't think it's gonna. But the ramp,
Taper
Yeah.
off down in.
Oh, I think it's more like 35.
that's a lot of
It
concrete.
goes way out.
Is that what we got right now?
Yes.
Really?
That's a lot of concrete
It
that
goes out there
has to go
ways.
out there. Versus, and granted, he said he's gonna put a sidewalk, but that's only gonna be 3 inches thick.
Well, we could always wait until the next drought and put it in.
We won't have any beach, or maybe not a boat.
That's a bad thing as we've talked
No,
about.
she's
at the
talking
time.
about, she's talking about going with what
I know.
the current bid is and
I
later
know.
on addressing it.
Oh,
Just getting anybody to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were the.
I move to
permit
accept the
sales.
bids for the swimming beach retaining wall and for the retaining wall between the boat ramp and the concrete dock. From Joe Coldy or Coldy Construction for the grand total of, was it 45,000?
I'll second it.
Let's say 46 just to be safe.
So let's keep the additional ramp as like a future project.
I think at some point that needs to be.
I'll
addressed.
still get
There
it.
is a lot of-
I'll get a number from them on that
Even if you
regardless.
put it in a different location. Put
Yeah,
another ramp
plant
in
the seed in
somewhere
this
else.
spray.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that's great. I love any idea of improving, but obviously we can't always do it.
Well, this is definitely going to be an improvement.
Yeah.
All right, are we done with? the
Because even after
discussion?
this, we're gonna have to
We
go
need
back
to
and buy a
vote.
lot of sand.
Here, that was really-
Yeah.
Did anybody second it?
I did.
Yeah, it's been seconded. I'm just waiting for the.
I'm ready.
Hopefully we don't have to buy any more.
All right, all in favor? Brett, raise your hand. Stand up.
How far out of the
Yeah.
wall is on the lake, we're gonna gain some more beach, right?
That's the hope.
We
That's-
should,
that's
yes.
the
But
idea.
we
Keep the beach from disappearing.
How far out of the wall?
Right.
It's going to be put
Oh,
pretty much in the same place as the last wall.
So you'll have as much beach as there was before.
I think she's giving her a copy.
Two.
She's giving her a copy, I think.
Yeah. So these
I'm
are
not including more, so
Is that mine?
I'm not
the
feeling
permit
like-
sales.
Oh, and
Did you already have one?
I don't know.
I have a,
Do you have one? Does he have one?
Cam,
What dollar figure did you?
46.
46.
Yeah.
You can keep that one, I think.
Okay.
Does Tim have one?
Tim, you
Do you
got
have
one?
one? Thank you. Do you have one already?
Yeah, I've got one.
All right, we all got one.
Okay.
Okay. So the next bid that I have
Wait a minute.
was to utilize our 1% sales tax that we had for sidewalks, streets, curbs, gutters, yada, yada. This is Debater Concrete, because he is available and,
Keep stuff.
reasonable. I met with him and we discussed different things, and I know everybody has different ideas what they want with the concrete and the 1% sales tax. So I tried to group everybody's thoughts and what everybody wanted into something so everybody's getting something out of this. So this bid, he broke it down in 4 different ways. The first way was the new sidewalks, handicap ramps, and the cutout curb pieces on Main Street. Basically what that is new handicap ramps at the park, a sidewalk all across the front of the park, a sidewalk across the back of the park, 10 bad places of curb and guttering cut out on the west side of Main Street between the Watt Bank and the other bank at the end, plus a handicap ramp double the size replaced in front of the library.
That's a good idea.
The second,
Is that the top line here, Brent?
Yeah,
You say other,
so
other
that's
bank, you mean?
all that together
This
right
is-
there.
This is Main Street,
Yeah.
44,000.
So Main Street,
There's too
new
many.
sidewalks, handicap ramps, curbs, plus the park
Okay.
is 44,000
Say again, but
Oh, that's a grand total. Okay, that's
for
includes all this.
all
stuff?
of that I said. Then
Oh.
the handicap ramp,
For all, 44,000 is for everything or just up here?
just up there.
Just
I'm
everything,
getting to the
okay.
rest. So then he broke down 3 other things, which was finishing the kiosk and having a flat surface around the kiosk and a walking area there.
By the
that-
fire station.
No,
No.
down by that little park.
The memorial.
Removing the kiosk out of there.
Oh.
I'm talking about the memorial. I'm sorry. The
Oh, yeah.
Veterans Memorial
Yeah.
at the park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Concrete around it, walkway up to it from the back.
From the sidewalk.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
not the park.
from
Not
the,
anything
from the
there.
east
In the
side,
back.
I missed that when he told me.
That is
first.
$3,000.
Okay.
Then the kiosk where the stone fence is up here and the kiosk for the town is being moved, that sidewalk is being tore out. That piece there is 2,040. And then Main Street handicap ramps is another 3,000. I know it's hard to read. I mean, he had texted me this. I wasn't able to meet him, so I had texted this. Then I'll put it up. But
Where does this money come from?
the 1% sales tax, because we can only use the 1% sales tax for the Or parks.
City sales tax or where's it
Ours.
listed?
It'd be city sales tax.
and right now we have 32,000,
35.
35,000.
Well, minus 14 or whatever we gave the park, right?
No.
No, 'cause we didn't decide
No.
where it's coming from.
It's 13,909, just so you know. So,
Well, there's not 44,000 even to the top one.
This Devader Concrete is going to be really busy coming up in the future, so he's hoping that we could let him know if we want to get some all, and we could group this all together with the totals, and it could possibly be cheaper. We're not going to be able to afford that, I don't think, by what we have in there right now, unfortunately, because it'd be cheaper for him instead of coming out, multiple times. But at least if we could do Main Street and the park sidewalks, I think that's a good start, which is the 44.
I'm sorry to make you repeat it, but did you say that there's going to be any new sidewalk from like Rush Inn area down to the park?
no,
Well, yes,
yes.
we have discussed that with him, and
with
thank you for
Another
bringing that. It could be this. We could link it together like we want now, or we could put the back sidewalk in on the park. It's an either or.
what size is the sidewalk in your park?
The same that's there
I'm
now,
in
so
favor
4x4.
Putting a sidewalk
Well,
to the Veterans Memorial.
4 foot.
Or for bigger than.
Sorry for speaking over you.
Correct.
So yes.
If
It'll
it's an
be-
either or, my vote is I'm more in favor of the sidewalk to the Veterans Memorial and finishing that.
You can always add at any time.
I thought you said the sidewalk on the back side of
It's
the park
concrete.
or the sidewalk that goes.
No, I think it's both, wasn't it?
Either or.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I
Right.
missed that.
I think that, all I'm gonna say is I like everything here, but, as far as prioritizing, I think Main Street needs to be a part of the first priority. It may not need to
And
be
that's in this
all of it,
first.
but yeah,
The curb, replacing the curbs cutouts and the handicap ramp and the front of the park. That's all in this 44.
okay.
So,
Kiosk area.
right. And the doing Main Street is really what bumped up the price because he has to cut out each section of the curb and replace it. If it was going to be, if we had no curbs and gutters, we could have probably did clear around the park, we could have done the entire sidewalk that we wanted to do, but the cost of cutting out and replacing piece by piece like we need to do is really what beefed up the price there. And
This
we
is
went
a,
with that side because it has the most to repair. So in doing this side next and that side next, it'll be less than what this side is
Good.
going to be.
Did you show them the plans for the park at the time?
No, I didn't have them.
Just
The
special
outer
highway.
sidewalk around the park is supposed to be an 8-foot.
Can that be used or
I
not?
remember that.
Supposed to
Yes.
What,
Oh,
everything in our master plan is
Taking out
obviously
special
supposed to be.
Special highway.
I thought
We're
it
gonna
was
meet that
general
as much as possible.
I
It
know
was
it's
originally 10 foot, we had a cross
be.
discussion and she just brought it down to 8 foot. Now we can do whatever we want,
the curve
obviously.
is a virgin to
But
the road.
for
I don't know. I think we can make
parks,
an argument.
Like for you to
Justin,
walk or bike around
the
the
last
park
time-
with other
Just a
people,
minute.
it's
We got a
nice to have at least a
conversation
6 foot, like, so you can pass without having to literally leave the sidewalk. So I think for the major outer ones, we would like a bigger one if possible.
Okay.
So that's my pitch into this. Not that I don't want to get sidewalk, because that sidewalk is obviously awful.
And this is all contingent that the city removes all the sidewalks that are going to be replaced. So the sidewalk in the front of the park, that is our responsibility to remove that concrete. Otherwise, you're looking at another 10, 15 added onto that because they have to haul it off with dump trucks and whatever to wherever they
Well, we've
go.
got a dump truck and we've got a Bobcat
Right.
We got the equipment.
Yeah.
and we'll have the man, we're gonna hire somebody extra this summer. Yes,
Mhm.
so we should be able to do that.
By Gumby.
Yeah. And the curbs and guttering is a liability thing thank you, that's a good idea. What was the other, I heard something else going on. What were you guys talking about?
I just didn't know if that could come out of special highway also.
When the
curbs
last time we
downtown.
did curbs and guttering years ago, they used, and I wasn't on the council, they used special highway.
Yeah.
To do the curbs and guttering. So you can add that in.
To me, it makes sense because it's the edge of your street and
Yes.
it
And that's why
it
they
goes
were-
towards the condition of a good street.
Yeah,
So-
I just didn't know they
And
could
that street
use for
happens to be
that
a
fund.
highway.
Because I
Yeah, there you go.
never used
And
that fund
there's
since I've
15
been
feet
here.
between.
Yeah.
there
So I
and
really know what it's for.
15 feet between there and there.
Did
So I
we-
don't know
Well,
if
go
I don't
ahead,
think
but
they'd
that's what they
consider that.
did.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because I know, because that's when
Didn't we use it
that's
for
when I
chip
put
and
my, that's when I put my
Maybe you
sidewalk
guys
in.
did. That
Oh, was
was
that before
right
you were here?
before I
Okay.
came on, or it's like right at the time of.
Okay.
But I can go back and
Doesn't
look
seem like
and
it was
see
that
if it
far
was
back.
paid from special highway. I think it was, because,
Yeah, I think it was paid from that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I put my sidewalk
I've had a
in.
hard time trying
Because
to
they
find
were going to
sidewalk.
do
I mean,
that,
we're
and so
focusing on
I had
playground
put the
anyway,
sidewalk
but
in, so I put it in front of the store. and
outside trying to go for,
all that.
Yeah.
So,
I-
otherwise, I wouldn't probably remember it, so. And the fact that I've heard Mike say that, so, because I
Get
keep
yours-
asking
get
where
the
do
one
we
you
get the
really
money
want.
for the curb and gutter, and he said, we gotta save up money in special highway.
just so we can try to get, plus I also feel like it needs to be
And if we did
No.
it legally
Dirt
16
work.
years
a
ago.
little bit to keep
No.
it from crumbling down.
Yes.
I think 8 foot is a ridiculous amount
I
of
don't.
ugly looking concrete around our small
It's not gonna be the
rectangle.
entire
You
thing.
don't like walking, do you? It's what your constituents want, remember, that's what y'all
Well,
just
well,
said.
that's like 3,000 for that stuff.
You're the only taxpaying constituent, so there's
That's
only
okay.
one opinion.
That's okay. And I'm here, and you know my name, Marcia Cook, so there you go. You have to listen,
I forgot
but
it.
I'm here.
You
I
forgot
didn't
who
send
she
the paper
was?
in, there's no
I was
name
just-
on it.
So what do you want to do here?
What do we wanna do?
This right here is vague. I can't read it.
I can't read
see
it either. I'm having a
I
hard time.
honestly would need
Read that
something-
one better, cause
I mean,
that's
it
the
just-
copy off of that.
I just can't. Well, I'm blind as a bat anyway.
Oh, Brad, you don't.
Me and my Bible.
But anyway, the time frame is much more sensitive with Devader concrete than it even was with Colby.
Here's the reason why, because it says sidewalks, but it doesn't say where.
Tear
it
out
doesn't
by
say where.
city.
It just says sidewalks.
Block, square,
Tear out by city.
stone.
I don't see anywhere on here where it's a location between X and X block, putting in a sidewalk. I don't see anything.
Yeah, it goes back to the situation at the
Yeah.
lake with
Yeah.
the houses and the scope of work, and that's not clearly
Mhm.
spelled out. I don't want to hold this up.
I don't either. I know.
But
I want to see
I
that
just
too,
want to
but I
make
mean,
sure
I
we
just,
don't get,
Correct.
Yeah.
So later on down the road, you can't.
Can I call him tomorrow and can we get this passed via a phone conversation with all of us?
Is that allowed?
Where's
A
the
conference
meeting?
call?
You
We can do
gotta,
a special
where's the
meeting
special
sometime.
Special meeting.
Where's this money coming from?
Whatever.
The 1%
The 1%.
But there's only 35,000 in there.
Well, then you can supplement the curbs and gutters
That's only
with
three.
special highway.
That's only 3,000.
No, it's curbs and gutter.
Where's, the Main Street is 3,000.
Special
Can
highway.
he split out anything that's curbs and guttering separately? But I mean, still have that, but split that out so we can pay.
But curbs and guttering down by the park is not have nothing to do with the highway, because the highway
No,
doesn't go to.
No,
that's the highway,
What it is it's highway funds that have come to us from.
Oh, thank
gas
you.
tax and
the
everything.
highway,
It's
the
not-
highway in this context means any street.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's,
so
but
we
it's
can actually,
for,
we can incorporate it.
but
Okay,
it's
okay.
for any road
Okay.
within
It
the
does
city.
need to be separate.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the purpose of it. It's because
what?
it's just gas tax money and that's what they call it.
And incidental facilities there too. That's what it says.
So
Bridges, roads, streets, and incidental facilities there too.
like curbs and guttering.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, Todd, we need to call a special meeting or whatever, or a conference call with us, like Wednesday, because I have tomorrow off, so I can get all this information from him tomorrow. And
Call a special meeting upon agreement of 3 of the council members and
Oh, I don't want to do both, huh?
No, a special meeting has to be here, buddy.
Well, can
Okay.
can you draw it up and then email it to us all and we can all look at it on our
Oh,
computer
no.
and talk on the phone?
no, you'd have to have you have to have everybody has access.
I just need a little
Public-
more
Public
specific
access.
information as far as between here to here, between what.
Yeah.
what-
Yeah.
and what
I don't know
time.
what you're asking
I'm not sure we're allowed to do that.
If you guys want me to set up a conference call number or whatever, and then we can publish that too. I don't know. I just assume come in here and do it, but
At this kind of price.
but we can get on the phone for
anybody.
anybody that wants to be on the
All right,
phone.
Justin, can you make it? Brad, you can make it?
Yeah.
I can make it.
What time are we talking about? When you said Wednesday, right?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I wait for you guys to settle. We need one more
I can
person to
make
come in
it.
Wednesday. Can you make it on
I can
Wednesday?
I can make it if it's 6:30 or later.
I can come in.
Not
anytime.
Wednesday.
I'll stay.
I kind of prefer to do early like that, like 6:30.
I could probably do 6:30. Might get
It's only
in
gonna
trouble
take
with-
Oh,
5 minutes.
Wednesday is out for me. I'm sorry.
Tuesday or
Yes.
Thursday?
Tuesday or
Tuesday's
Thursday.
tomorrow. Tomorrow or Thursday?
Tuesday's probably a little early.
Thursday, I
Thursday.
need tomorrow to get.
Oh, come on, buddy.
Okay.
I can
That's
hustle,
fair.
but I don't know if I can hustle that.
I can't be here.
6:30,
I think you
Thursday
just-
the 15th.
If I had a Tootsie Roll, I'd throw that.
What,
I'm
6,
kidding.
Thursday the 15th? If Thursday
I
will
won't
work.
call you tomorrow.
Thursday will work with me. I don't work.
Thursday at what time? We can go 6
Make it-
o'clock.
Afternoon?
Son of
Yeah, I just,
Well, if we have,
did he say anything about having to do any dirt work to get it? Because I feel like it's sliding down the hill. and
you got
that's
2
what
people
broke
that can
up
make
the
it
first-
Thursday?
No.
6 o'clock? Are we talking 6 o'clock?
Like,
No, they'll pull it up and they'll split it up.
I can make it 5.
Yeah, I can make it.
5,
I would prefer.
1, 2, 3, 5.
I don't know.
Justin, can you make
After
it at
6.
5 Thursday?
It's just me, I
5
guess, I'm
Thursday?
being fair.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I just, like, in
All
10
right.
years, I would do it.
Hello? We're
5
5
o'clock's
Thursday?
great.
Thursday?
Yeah,
Thursday?
I'm sort of unemployed.
That matters.
What's your?
I probably can't.
I'm trying to start my own business.
It's all contingent on being.
Anytime. I'll bring my kids. It's good. 4 of them. Anton will make it real lively.
Oh, yeah.
Spring on
It'll be great.
I will add too, because the one thing that I forgot is the corner of the park that you first come to as you're driving to it with the water culvert, the metal water culvert, it's actually collapsing and falling in, and that was also being completely replaced in that bin.
That's good.
That would be me.
The sidewalk,
That's, yeah.
to your understanding, is between the end on the park.
Mhm.
For me, okay.
And the culvert's getting fixed. Did you hear what he said there?
Yeah, it needs fixed.
Yeah, I noticed that with the,
I could
Egg
type
roll.
this up for you if you want me to, like, if you can give me a better
I'm just gonna
copy.
make him type it up.
Okay, I mean,
Can-
he's probably
can we-
not gonna
can
do
we
that, but
now-
if you need me to do that.
Will you make sure
They're
that
terrible with that stuff.
there's
more specific.
there's
If he's not, I'll hit it.
there's 2-inch PVC pipes in the
I
ground
can
for
read it.
flags? there's 2-inch peak on the curbs, right by the curbs, going around the.
Yeah.
Can we make
Yeah,
sure?
none of those are gonna be touched,
Okay,
except
good.
maybe the one on the corner, and now that you mention, I'll make sure that that doesn't get
Okay,
jacked up,
okay.
flagpole on corner.
Have it all broken down. And this
Okay,
weird total.
so we're gonna have a special meeting Thursday, 5 o'clock to specifically discuss this bid. We will review it and I swear I'll get you out of here in 10 minutes. I will push you out the door if necessary, but now you can visit if you want.
But we just need a little more information from you.
No, we can't.
Well, we need it more specific. That's a lot of money.
Sure.
All right, so could we have a motion, please?
I'll call you that.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion for that meeting?
Yes, you do.
I move for special meeting Thursday at 5 o'clock-ish.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Subject of the meeting is the bid for.
Oh, thank you.
Invite is.
What the lawyer said.
Well, what I just said, yeah.
For use
why-
of
why-
1% sales tax.
This specifically for this bid. Thursday, I have to
I think
write
it's
this on my
great.
calendar. You should see my calendar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Happy to finally see that money being put to
Something
work,
getting-
so.
And where everybody's gonna see it.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
keep sending money into that fund. It's nice to
We're
use
gonna have
it.
lots of them
I sure would
all
like,
year long.
I sure would like to
in
see
a row.
toys and stuff down
Park, lake,
Would be
city.
nice.
in the park.
But you gotta play. We don't have that kind of weight capacity. You know, it's for children.
Thanks.
All right.
Are we
I
gonna
thought we were done.
All right, we got everything taken care of.
streets and
right?
alleys?
Say
We
it.
skipped
That was
over
something
streets and
else?
alleys. Were we gonna go back
Yeah,
to
what
streets
was
and
that?
alleys?
Oh,
I thought that
yeah.
was that.
I
Sorry.
thought that's what we just did.
All right, what was
No,
that
we did
about?
not.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
they're
What
two
was it?
separate things.
Yeah, the
The
streets.
streets and
alleys.
alleys, that was just to bring back up the special meeting we had to talk about streets and alleys 2 months ago, and we've had no action of any type of any progress on the streets and alleys. So I had to put back on there so that we could talk about getting some progress on the streets and alleys. So that required our first part-time person that we hired, which was Matt Bisnet. Has he started?
I don't know.
We were
hasn't turned
wanting,
in
we had
hours.
talked at the meetings about him starting before April 1st, and it's April 10th or 11th,
Well,
12th. Because we wanted him before he would have to be mowing, so he could be getting some of the streets and so
Mike didn't think he'd probably start until after school was out, but I don't know if he's talked to him or if that was just an assumption.
do we need to find somebody else? If he's not gonna start till then, then.
yeah, that's in May.
26.
Mike, that's what Mike said. He said that he was, concerned about coaching and all that, and I know his focus was on that, and that's,
Well, I want to get Mike some
that's-
more help before then.
yeah,
That
that's,
grass is getting tall.
yeah.
And the curbs that you spoke of are still dirty.
On this,
So I can reach out to Matt and ask him if he can start immediately, or if he needs till May, or if he's even wanting, like,
do we have gravel out there yet? See, part of the problem was, because what the city, what I was gonna make a suggestion on is the city has a truck that can haul the gravel. And the residents are usually the ones that are responsible for buying the gravel, and then the city always spread it. And that makes sense, because in that way, the whole city isn't paying for those few people that are lucky enough to have an alley. And so that could be done, but that's all right. I think we kind of talked about this, and then Matt could have been doing it. But then when I talked to Elvin, they said they were running out of gravel and that they were expecting to have dynamite. So have you heard if they've made any more gravel out there
I've been
yet?
seeing him haul gravel from out there.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure.
I see a lot going through town. I haven't seen that, but I'll check on
I think we need to
And
establish. whether
we
it's
as the
gonna work
city
or
have gravel stockpiled, correct?
I don't think so. They go and get it, I believe.
Yeah, they buy
and they don't
each
have
time
as
they
much
need
as what you need.
At the
so.
lake. Always buy it.
But I recollect Mike saying that they were running out of gravel and they were making a
Businesses and
stockpile
homes
of
or just
gravel.
homes?
I think so,
The
but
homes that are
They're
along
still
the
buying
alley.
gravel.
What about businesses? Are they gonna have to buy their own gravel?
No, that's the only thing the city maintains is a commercial business. Alleys. That's always been that way. And always in the past, the people bought the gravel and then the city spread it for them. And we can still do that because we've got a nice little Bobcat. Used to be that we had a small maintenance grader and the city sold that to somebody because we got a Bobcat.
On streets we don't have that anymore either.
Yeah, okay.
I remember that.
But we need to have a plan. So we need to section out the town so that we can start somewhere and be completing and then move on.
Maybe we can get enough gravel to at least take care of those spots that you were talking about.
I think
Yeah.
first we need to establish whether Matt's
Correct. And we need to get the streets being
establish
cleaned.
whether Matt is going to work
Oh.
now or, you know, what that's the direction.
Well, that's a side note, but
Yeah.
whether or not he's gonna work or it's gonna be somebody else, I really like Brett's idea that we need to have a plan. And
Yeah.
set goals and knock them down.
Well, I think probably your first thing you're gonna want to get done is the things you talked about, on the alleys behind the businesses, because they are kind of bad. And get those.
And I
knocked down.
want the gutters and the streets, like all the entrances into town and the water culverts and stuff, those all need to be cleaned because they are clogged
With a
and they're
shovel.
nasty and they're gross.
I did see the state cleaning the ones on the highway.
Todd, our special meeting on Thursday, can we discuss this part-time position if I get an answer from him?
Yeah, you amend the motion to say that you're gonna talk about
Everybody remember that.
that as well.
Amend the motion.
Well, you gotta make a motion.
No, you
have
Well,
to.
that day.
You have to amend it now.
No, amend it now.
Yeah, amend it now, because you're calling the meeting for the purpose of.
Get her done.
Okay, I amend it. I so amend.
Yes, you've started a.
Let the lawyer,
Movement, man.
let the lawyer clean that up. All right, we
Discussion.
got a motion. Do I have a second? Justin,
Good.
all in favor? Unanimous.
Just extra fun for.
Okay,
Steve.
and I apologize for keeping everybody here, but I just know
Well, get
another
your
half
little-
a month just
Get your
doesn't fly
plan
with me.
all worked out, divide it up in quarters, or maybe you look at the alleys and see which ones are the worst.
I think,
I already have the list. I'll bring it to the meeting.
Just the thought, we start on the uphill parts
That's
then,
where I was
and
thinking.
work our way downhill. Yeah, because if we start the downhill,
It's gonna be
it's gonna keep,
washing.
yeah.
Marcia already pointed that out to me.
She knows a little bit about,
I know a lot about that. I
About
do
where
too.
water
You know where it
goes.
all comes
Right.
from. That comes right by my house.
yeah.
I feel so sorry for all the kids that
I
lost
feel
their
midnight coming on.
summers ago.
All right, are we ready to move on to vacant building ordinance?
Yes.
Okay. Which one is it? This one.
You've had this for a while, so.
Yeah. We, the people, the plain truth of the matter is that all the buildings on this side of the street, the ceramic shop, unless somebody's willing to spend thousands of dollars, the floor is caving in, the roof needs to be replaced. I don't know if anybody's gonna do any work on it. The building next to that is what used to be Paul's old building. That building needs to, Blue is left. I haven't seen him. and we
He
haven't-
was just here. What day
Did
was
you
that,
see him?
Stephanie?
Oh, I didn't see him.
Well, we need
Remember
to,
I came in and I said, did we need Blue for something?
Oh, yeah,
He's
you
at the
did.
lumberyard right now. I can go track him down.
well, what we need to do is send him a letter and ask him even to send us a
We don't-
plan on what he's gonna do with his property.
You don't have an ordinance. Why would you ask him?
Well, don't we have
About that.
of the ability to ask somebody that's got a, all right, let's pass this ordinance then. But I'm just telling them what we need.
What Dolly's
done.
talking about is the roof on his building is collapsed and he
Yeah.
doesn't have it secured to where things can't be getting into it. Children, people,
yeah,
animals as such. Both
Well-
properties that he owns are that.
All right, well, and then the only reason I'm talking about
It's
these,
probably not insured.
and then also then the building next to that, the floor is falling in. So we need to have this ordinance to either save these buildings or realize the fact that we're gonna lose a third of Main Street.
See, this is where I was talking about when I talked about SHPO for the last 5 years. Like if we could have really gone on the bandwagon, got them in here and got them to historically register as a historic business district, then the option of tearing these buildings would not be even on the table.
But you can't sell these buildings. Nobody will buy them. And if you put them on this historical whatever, who's gonna maintain them if nobody's gonna buy
The
them?
city forces you to then maintain them.
Just to
Because then that's when this ordinance that we're gonna pass right now would come in, is you can't tear the building down, and the city now has an ordinance that we're now forcing you to do something, so then the building's staying and you're having to repair it.
And if
See
they can't
how it
afford
works
to do, yeah,
together?
I know how that works, but I don't.
I'm not worried about if they can't afford it, I'm worried about saving the buildings.
Well,
Because
it's too
this
late.
town is nothing without this main street.
I know that, But it's nothing right now because nobody will buy any of these buildings and the people that own them will not repair them.
Or sell
And we
them at
can't
a cost.
force
Or sell them at a cost that someone could actually afford to buy
Well-
and then repair them.
And that's what there was a guy that was in here and yeah, I thought that perhaps the building next to me, you know, if they would have said you can have it for 4,000, he wanted 5 times that much. And
And
it's,
can you
it is,
require businesses to be in a business district when they
crazy.
come into your town?
well,
Yeah,
Force them?
well, you can zone it that way, basically, that's the zoning.
Is that area zone?
it's
We've
commercial.
advocated zoning, haven't
It's
we?
commercial.
Yeah, that's
County.
county has that now.
Mhm.
It might be the practical answer is that they might have zoned it that way. But yeah, you could, in any place other than a commercial district, normally it would only allow home occupations, which are limited to those like, hair salons or something, in-house.
So anyway, as far as this ordinance goes, do you have any questions for Todd? I'm sorry, it's getting late. But I think we need this to move on with what we need to do to protect our buildings and try and see if we can't get people to sell them so that somebody else will save them. I tore off the back third of my building and it was well worth it. So another person can do the same.
I think
I
this
don't know.
just gives us permission to do what we do with houses in town,
Yes,
so I
I
don't have
think you're right.
any issue with it.
I think we're overdue on this. I think if something like this would have existed 20 years ago, we wouldn't be in the state we're in. I hate it because it goes against, well, I don't hate it. but-
Private property, you're
It-
thinking of people owning something. But
Yeah, that's, the
But where this is-
libertarianism and being able to do, with something as you want. So, I mean, it's kind of conflicting for me personally. but-
Well, every ordinance that we make is taking away somebody's right. to
At the
do
same
what they
time,
want on
when we
property.
just talked about, the town crumbling when Main Street's gone, that takes away from everybody in the town, so.
So,
Greater good, I guess,
yes.
so.
And then when we approve this, then we need to do something about it. And one of the first things we need to do is own up to the fact that we have a building that needs to come down.
And we have 3 buildings with broken out windows right now.
So this is for all commercial buildings or just Main Street?
Love
It's all commercial buildings,
And Jack Foster
but there's
has 5
specific
windows
rules in
broken
there,
out
I
of
think
his.
they're for the defined
For multiple
downtown
units now.
district, which has to be inserted in there.
We
You guys
can
have to
get
designate
people
the
to
area,
A window out.
because I'm
kids not
considering it's a
throwing
special
this
area
on.
that needs.
That includes the school area.
Oh, yeah.
So you got this one.
And Todd,
Yeah,
would that include the school?
It's been broke for
And I do agree.
Close to
should
two.
do
I don't think
that.
first school's
Some of these
Close to
bills
2
would be a
weeks.
lot better.
I wish.
when
I
that
don't know.
super windy. That's when.
Anyway, they've been notified.
So,
we have
hold
another
on, and
building
she has got a
that's
quick
vacant.
question though, with the school, is that considered a residential building now, cause it's vacant? Or can it be, because it's not zoned for
That's-
commercial?
But I also just asked about, so
Sorry.
Todd said it was like the downtown district. This
No,
ordinance,
this
right?
commercial means any non-residential structure or property
Oh.
within a commercial zone is established by the city governing body.
Mhm.
So basically, it's, if the school is a non-residential structure within a commercial zone, it would apply.
I don't know if it is.
That's a good question.
Are schools typically in commercial
That's what I was
zones when they're?
No, probably not.
Uh,
That's irrelevant to that's how the ordinance is
It's not in
written
my
now.
notes.
Yeah,
That's my bedtime.
I mean, I'd like it to apply to the school too, because what I just said about
Yeah.
Main Street is,
What I was talking about is on page 4, B, this is section B, subsection 5. No owner can use a commercial building for storage, salvage, deposit of items, bailment, or other long-term or short-term holding of property of any kind unless the property is specifically constructed as a self-storage unit with exterior access for customers to obtain access to rent a base or garages. In no circumstance can any storage business exist in the downtown area defined as food. So that has to be inserted. And basically what you say is the boundaries of what? I don't know. One street to the other street on
What street are the schools on, Marcia? Is that, Second Street?
Well, this is the downtown, yeah,
This
this-
one's downtown.
we're just talking about the downtown
Yeah.
area, so 99
From Russian,
north
how
to,
far down?
Well, you go down past the car wash. Isn't that commercial?
Do we
Yes.
clear down to the area that he lost was considered commercial too, we clear on that?
Where?
Parts of that is
this is,
commercial.
this is a
They're
downtown
down-
area, it's not a commercial area.
Because you're still considered commercial now?
Just defining the downtown
They
area.
didn't rezone it?
That's how they got those people kicked out.
Oh,
So it does go from the edge of
Don't
Yeah.
expect them
clear
to-
past C&E Motors.
Yeah,
You're out of here.
every summer he's gonna have a little ice cream shop in one town.
and that would include, that, and on the other side would be Paydink's gas station all the way.
There is a storage unit in that bounds. Would that be messed up? I just,
There is.
they
don't
couldn't
think
be
it
there
makes-
anymore?
What? No, it's gotta be exterior storage
It
units,
is
like a,
serious.
Oh, okay, okay. Just, I didn't realize, sorry.
I'm trying to stop people
At least.
from putting a bunch of junk in a building
Thank you.
Yeah.
You've written it well.
or cars.
What about
We're
more
just trying to preserve the storage units that
No,
are
you
already
can't-
there.
Well, I mean, it's existing structures here on Main Street, so Morton Building, it could be, yeah, that's not a problem. It's just it can't be used for storage.
I was actually trying to talk somebody into saving the facade and putting the Morton building behind it. And I was reeling them in, but then they changed their mind. Because. at least
And
it
that
would be-
could work, but I question how you could put a Morton building behind it when every building shares walls. So you wouldn't be able to take the walls
There's-
down.
Yeah, you could just the walls are standing, the walls are this thick, and so you put the Morton building on the in between. One wall to one wall.
Okay, so it would be just a little bit smaller of a building than it
Perhaps.
was.
Yeah,
Yep.
they'd have to fix the guttering so they would drain the water back out of the way. It could be done.
Keep
At
that
least
wall
we
dry.
could. Well, and then
Could
also
be.
we'd have to treat the inside of the wall. Cause it's naked.
Well, what
Okay,
I'm saying is to pass this ordinance, you need to define the downtown area.
And I will call them too.
What do you
Okay.
need?
where
Because
we
I
want
think if
to,
both of us call
Russian down the car wash
So
and have them,
for me, yeah.
yeah,
call them and have them.
they were supposed to have already came through our
I
town.
don't
They're
think we
supposed to
stop
have.
at the car wash. I think
Well,
we
and
go
I'm-
on to the
I'm
end of
fine
that
too.
block.
That's why I'm half far down, I mean, just to the end of the wall.
that's, what is that, past car wash?
Because there can be another business on the other side of the car wash. We want to keep that included.
First,
East First, maybe?
yeah. First,
Yeah.
So does 99 have a street name?
It's
This one.
Third Avenue, I think, actually.
not the one that goes up the hill?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Third
Yeah, it could be.
Avenue.
Third Avenue.
Yeah, second,
To
first.
first?
Well,
The
what?
car wash is at
what's
second.
Well, you would want to include
car wash?
like the
This-
Catholic Church's block, right?
No,
No.
that's
No.
residential.
This is down, we're only talking about the downtown area.
There's only one business.
That
in
is
Robinson.
downtown.
That
There's a
is-
business on that block. There's
You've got
two
storage
businesses
unit
on
in
that
there.
block.
That's all that is right now. storage
There's
unit.
Stevenson's and across the way is Payday's car lot. So I mean, there's two businesses on that block. It's not like there's not businesses there.
So we go down to Fourth Avenue.
Hmm.
Okay, you're down to.
Fourth Avenue,
Both of them, well, now
I'm just saying,
Payday
if you're going to
faces
include
Third Street.
Every
thinking-
business building, but exclude those
Right on the
two.
corner.
That seems.
Dolly, he's talking about Payday's property across.
On the other side,
Garage.
on the south side. But it
See,
faces the highway, so wouldn't it be the highway address?
You're right. But C&E
Well,
doesn't
it's
face
just
the
very
highway. It faces-
Yeah, but I don't think Stevenson says.
Yeah, Stevenson's faces the other way.
It's his stays Main Street,
C&E faces.
So Fourth would
faces
be,
Main Street.
Main.
Fourth Street
What?
to
No, I'm just
First,
breathing.
Was First Street the one?
Fourth,
that's the,
East First Street or?
Aren't they all avenues? Fourth
Yeah.
Avenue?
We've got
Yeah.
streets and
It
avenues.
is Avenue.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Sorry.
I
I'll
think-
see.
Yeah, the avenues are over here and the streets are.
If you're going to the car wash or past the car wash, that's Second
Well,
Street.
what's the north boundary
Just
of
past the car
this?
wash.
Yeah, that's my street. That's Second.
First Avenue or East First Street?
First Avenue is the lumber yard, and that lumber yard is on the other side of that, so you would want to include that, I would think.
You want to take it to, what did you say, Second
Second
Street?
Street would
The Second
include the storage unit and the car wash, and it would stop right there.
And
Yeah.
cancel
And the
Down the
station.
second.
possible liquor
station.
store that might come in.
Aren't they remodeling that for something?
And she would know because she lives on it.
Well, they weren't.
Like
They're doing nothing
10
with it.
years.
How far did you go
What's
down?
the
Forget it.
north boundary? It's not Second Street, that's too far in.
Now, here's my question, I guess. Could
Oh,
they?
wait a minute.
Hold on.
No,
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
you.
it's
First-
Second Street. It really
No,
is.
Second Avenue,
Second,
Second
I'm
Street.
sorry, Street.
Street.
Right over here.
Second Avenue is where I live. Second Street is past the car wash.
Is right. Yeah.
This shows.
Right here.
It's
Second
messed
Avenue.
up.
This is Main Street,
Okay.
isn't it? No, this.
This is-
Show them that map where Second Street is.
Okay.
Where's
Hold
the
on.
northern boundary?
Right up there.
Right
Go
here,
up,
Second
up,
Avenue,
up,
right
up.
here.
Annie
No,
Street.
not
That's
Avenue.
Avenue. We want street.
I know, I'm looking
This is like.
Keep
the-
going right there. Right there.
Yeah.
right there.
Where's the senior center?
Here's the car wash.
Right, here's Second Street.
The senior center is,
Way out there.
That's designated as East First Street on this map.
Yes, it is, because when I went to look at a property I wanted to buy, somebody
So
bought
that's
it, it
East
was
Second.
for something East First. And that's the one right next to Deb Ponton and where Carla Hayford used to live. And that guy bought it and cleaned it up and it looks great.
East Second Street becomes.
Kinberry.
So it's
No,
East First
Ken.
Street.
I can't think of his
Is
name.
that First Street that runs this way?
yes.
Oh God.
Is
I
it,
don't
you're on
know.
Second right now, Marcia.
Isn't that Alpha Beta?
Marcia, go back
This
to
is
Main Street.
Alpha.
Go back to Main Street
That's wrong.
and now
Oh,
come
it's the
down
senior
on
center.
Second Street.
Yeah. but
Down
it's
there.
Main.
Just about
Yeah.
2
Split.
inches.
Oh.
Well, it's weird because
Are you
First and
talking about
Second
this?
Street.
Yes.
Like run
That's
together and
exactly what
then
I'm talking about.
Yes, it's called East First Street right there. Where,
I'll bet
where
that's
it's
first that Marcia's.
Yeah.
This is no name on it anyway. First Street right here. It
Okay,
says
that's
First
what I
Street
thought.
right there.
So they merge together
And it
and turn
merges.
into Second
but then it's
Street.
second
When
when
that's where it means.
when it goes
Yeah.
there.
Here's second.
This
on
is
the-
second
Fairlane
here.
Commercial.
I hope nobody's still watching this meeting right now.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it down. Okay, it's done.
They turned it off by now.
It's gonna be East.
They
it's
fell
gonna be
asleep
First-
on the couch already.
It's gonna be
Probably
First
popped
Street.
more
Really
than
hoping
me.
so.
You're like,
4,000
Monday nights I sleep the
on Main
best.
Street.
TV land.
Okay,
Done.
okay, so now the apartments aren't in any of that, right?
Nope.
No. Well, because it's just the block, the facing block.
But we did include Stevenson's and
Goes down to Fourth Avenue.
Fourth, it goes
Which is
past
The
it.
park. Obviously, we didn't include. What about the
Goes down to
church?
the park.
The church they're
It's
working
included.
on.
Okay.
The Catholic Church is included.
We didn't let them out when he bought that? Just asking, because I don't know.
Let them out.
Let them
I mean,
what?
well, if it was commercial, it was.
All the zoning is done with the
Zoning's done
county.
with us.
Okay.
Is that wording
I'm
gonna
just
be-
wondering, curious.
If,
They
if
could
they
have
got
had
it
it
rezoned
rezoned.
residential, they probably did.
Probably.
Yeah, they did have a
Incidentally,
reason
there's
it was
somebody's
legal,
house that's
okay.
in that
Yeah.
area now.
Okay, good.
Two of them.
That was just here.
Guess they did.
Well, there's three houses right there, actually. Day Day.
There's one in
Meat
particular I'm
and
talking
Shaver.
about.
This is how the city defines the zone. Is
Is
that gonna mess it up? Because we don't technically.
the Presbyterian Church
Probably not
Okay.
really.
is, I think, just
We
a
define
storage
the
unit.
zones wherever the county
That's
defines
just-
the zone as, I would
That's
say,
just a
but
storage unit right now.
And we
So-
just lost another church.
yeah.
Yeah, we lost the best building literally in town.
Well, it's not closed yet, but
That's true.
Yeah, lack of a millionaire.
How's that?
It
80,000?
Wouldn't even been a millionaire.
wouldn't even be a millionaire. It'd be 100 grand.
Well, that's what I mean,
to
80,000.
do every single thing that needs to be done would be 120,000. To just do the tuck pointing, to get that done is 80. And then you have to fix the stuff inside that has been damaged because it wasn't tuck pointed.
What's your grade?
But we got a
Coincidentally.
great brand new
also
roof,
had a wall
brand new
issue.
utility unit, brand new doors
We
and
never
windows.
fixed it. So I don't know what stated. Probably
Just couldn't get the rest of the stuff. I said, but the church has a brand new roof and heating and cooling unit and brand new doors and
Well, are
windows.
you wanna pass this ordinance? You want me to make changes? What do you wanna do?
I'm happy with it.
He's defined the boundaries of what it covers now.
I can make those changes. You can approve it and I can make those changes and then
Not to make this drag on, I do have a question. So how does this work to define who has what in buildings, who not
I
necessarily?
mean, it's a city ordinance. It's an ordinance.
So the public officer
Public
goes and
officer,
inspects
yep.
and then we
Yeah.
just start sending out letters.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep, public officer thing. Just like any other nuisance.
What would this be designated as? Ordinance number what?
It'll be the date.
580.
But as with
Where-
everything,
No,
we
it'd
can
be
only
actually
do
582
what we have
because I
money
think
to
we have
follow through
a
to.
581
We
because
we
the-
have a dash one already.
I think it's 582.
When they sold Luther's, Chevrolet, whatever, Ford
Ordinance will
dealership,
have a sequential.
is that
Yes.
Yeah, 580.
privately owned?
580.
Is that is that still commercial building?
It's commercial.
When they bought it, okay, I'm gonna check on that, cause that's what he's using it for storage for the last 20
What?
years.
Is this public?
What if they've already been using it for
Zoning,
storage
is it
and they
public?
bought it that way?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, maybe he'll sell it then.
Can't maintain a
We're
nuisance.
talking about the dealership, down there in the corner next to the antique shop.
Well, I'm going to move to approve ordinance number 582.
Second, please.
I was second.
And that's Annie. All in favor? It's 10 all. I get you out of here.
Okay,
I
there's
told
3
her-
votes.
Against?
I'm abstaining.
One abstain, and that would be Tim, and,
The one abstention counts in favor. So it's 4-1.
oh, for one. And Vince.
That was a thing.
What would you guys like us to start doing about planning for the IGA building? You want us, you know, I've found one engineer that does such things as far as planning, and help bring it down, and then we can maybe get a guesstimate of how much it's gonna cost.
I would like some professional opinion.
I would like to get a guesstimate of how much it would fix.
I'll be glad to do that. It'll cost more than what the building's worth. Or the space.
I don't know when you have to re-tuck point the entire wall to ceiling of 2 side buildings that have.
Why would they
different
have to
mortar.
do the ceiling?
I meant from roof
West side?
to ground, you're gonna have to re-tuck
Burn
point
down
the
twice,
Buffalo
so it
Inn
doesn't even have
and
the original
the Sodas and Stuff
Except to the
building
truss
because it's
building.
inside mortar and it's gonna need to be changed to outside mortar. So you have the entire you just heard the
It doesn't
re-tuck
matter.
pointing
The
of-
building is gonna come down and be replaced, but
I understand, but where is this coming? Where's the money coming from? Because I bet you
we
could
have
fix
to
that building
start
for 70 grand.
somewhere. We have to start somewhere.
No, you're right. We have to start somewhere.
And
We're
go
gonna
to
get
the
estimates
street
from them.
tab and you can look at the pictures
Yeah,
of
I agree.
that side of the street after the fires and the tornado. It's kind of fun to see. 'Cause
And
did
it
change a
should
lot
have,
more.
this has been going on since the building was sold. to
12
David.
years is when I came to this council and
all of
begged them to spend $8,000 to fix that roof.
I remember. I sat out there.
And
a
Todd was
lot.
the one that pissed me off the most when I walked out of that damn meeting.
Damn you, Todd.
Well, I gotta have my husband.
He has a knack.
I'm gonna go adjourn.
I'll second.
Oh, can't we think of something else to talk about?
I've got a list of lake issues here.
No, right.
Well, we'll talk about that next meeting. All in favor? I'm sorry. That was a bad. Sorry, I was just picking on you. I told her I was gonna hold her here till midnight. She's all leaving.
Yeah.
I will leave.
She's got.
Stephanie, that's what I did last time.
I have a baby.
Hey, Sally.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then
I will
Thank you.
do it sometime
Get one of
in
those
the
letters.
future tomorrow.
You got yet beautified? No.
I would have cleaned this weekend. I was gonna clean
Did you
yesterday.
text me at midnight, really? Or did it like not? I was like,
But I wanted
why
to
is
come
this
yesterday and then my mom ran over. So all I did was cry.
You got a stinky baby in his mouth.
Well, we were like walking, and I'm like, oh, Brendan, you come up. Maybe a holiday. I'm like walking, and I'm like, he's like, oh God, that's a truck on fire, or it was on fire. And I'm like, oh shit, that's Gary's truck. I'm like, well, Brett's not coming today, so we were like, crap.
Every old man, you make fun of me.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you're lymphedema, and I'm going, okay, I'll move it out, never mind.
It's that ship in there.
Oh, my.
I really just.
Sheila, a person came into my store and talked
I'm
about
dying
that.
now.
I couldn't believe
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
She's going, there's chips in those things, don't you know? And I'm going, no.